Audrey, good day.
Good day.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Are the children up this morning early?
Some of them. The
Oh,
the youngest one isn't up though, so that's good.
so your day gets started pretty early?
Well, this actually I wanted to wake up earlier than this, but I stayed up late.
Mm-hmm.
I was at one.
Well, we just wanted to reconnect with you. I haven't seen you, in a couple of weeks on the site, and of course I haven't seen you on Skype
Yeah,
in months.
when I first got on the resistance, I was like really excited, and then like when it came time to actually do things, it's like the first step I know is detoxing. And with my partner, like we have different beliefs and everything, like before he didn't even want me on the site because he saw something, and then he was like, I spend too much time on the site. And he just doesn't understand that when you want to make it some kind of transition, you have to be dedicated. And maybe, I wasn't prioritizing well, but that doesn't mean that I still shouldn't take part in something that's important to me. So I didn't really have his support, and I needed that to like purchase things and stuff like that. So I just kind of like stopped, because I didn't know, I didn't have the means to move forward and do what I wanted to do. But now there's coming a time when I'm possibly going to be able to do that. And so I, and then I was listening to Abraham Hicks too. And, some of the stuff on the site is like kind of over my head and I don't get it. And I just felt like it's because of where I am in my, this journey that we're having. And so I just decided to take a break until I can move forward or I understand things better.
That's a wise decision and path to go. I wanted to share with you, Regina and I were talking prior to adding you to the call, and we were actually recording, and so I wanted to share that with you if you're okay with that. The call being recorded just for future record if we need to refer back to it for any reason.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, well, welcome back. I'm glad to hear that your husband is supportive. Is he also looking at the content on the site, or is he?
Some of it. He's like really skeptical, and he's like, I mean, I tried to tell him that everybody online are the same people you meet outside. He's one of those people who say, you're going to listen to anybody online. And I told him the same things that Savannah's teaching that have been there for eons. And it's just a matter of different avenues to get to knowledge. You can read stuff in the book. You can get information from anywhere. So he doesn't really have respect for everything that he says, but like if he hears something that maybe resonates with him, he'll agree with it. Like he's interested in the 105 universal laws because I'm studying the law of attraction, and he's interested in it, but he doesn't totally like believe in it. So I don't really have his full support, but we do talk about it sometimes, but we don't always agree. So it's like I honestly don't like talking about things with him because it just turns into an argument or just disagreements.
I can relate to that. That happens. My husband is more of a militant, Black Power, and
Yeah.
He's awake and he's aware, and the way that he chooses to be, and that's his right. And then I had some of the same kind of issues with how much I'm on the resistance site and things that I choose to share of myself with other people, like my time or just things that I like to do, being there for others as they're there for myself, and things that I learn conflicting with us as a whole, because in his eyes, things should be totally black. But in my
Mhm.
eyes, that's just another box, and I don't do boxes. So we clash a lot. But
Yeah.
part of that, I realized for me, that has been good, even though it's a tug of war with my husband on that issue, is me being able to stand and know that I am who I am, and no one can change that. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
willing to compromise myself to make someone else happy so that I'm unhappy. So I make you happy, but now I'm not okay. So that doesn't work for me either. So it's finding a balance within all these other things that we're juggling is kind of hard. I do understand. And then the
Mhm.
children and stuff or whatever else you have to do. But it makes
Yeah.
life really interesting.
So I'm studying a course right now for herbology, and then I'm starting a business, a small business, and so I'm going to be trying to bring in my own financial means of sustenance. So I really won't need him in that area, you know. So and then I just really miss the resistance site, and it's like I haven't been there because I wasn't with all the distractions and not being able to focus really inside my house. I just kind of like it was depressing, and so I was looking for. I don't even remember how I came across Abraham. What actually no, a friend told me about her, and I was studying her, and it's like she teaches like that you should be positive, and it's kind of like she talks about other things, but the main thing she's saying is that nothing matters but what you create in your reality, and that there's no harm that can come to you if you know if that's the energy you put out, you know, and then that led me to go back to the resistance site and check and see, well, I wonder what Savant says about the law of attraction, you know, and then I find 105 universal laws, you know. So, because some people who, like I was going to a meetup group and the woman said that the law of attraction is the only law, you know, she sees it as the only law. But then, you know, I find these other laws, so I'm trying to like compare everything and, I don't know how the law of attraction is in comparison to everything else that Savannah is talking about, you know? So I don't know, that's where I am right now, and then I still need to detox my body and everything. I feel like I'll understand more and things will be clearer and my dreams will be clearer, and I'm still frustrated about my dreams, like I don't remember them very much. And it's really frustrating because I know that that's a big part to understanding you know, yourself. It's like a more freer you that tells you more about yourself rather than in this reality that I'm in now. And so I've been having trouble with that, but I know that that will change when I cleanse my blood and do the body cleanse.
That's true. That's true. It sounds like you are being led by your higher self. It's like if you're listening to yourself as far as what it's saying you should do for yourself, then you will not go wrong. You'll be guided through this journey with precision, and you'll hear something to do. You'll be able to do it. And the lighter you are in your vibration, the lighter it is in your environment, that will definitely happen. And so your name stands out for some reason. It's like ever since the first time I saw your name on the resistance site, it was a connection. So if it takes us to kind of clear out what's going on in our surroundings in order for us to heighten that vibration to get back into the current and the flow of where you should be. And maybe this right now is what that is for you. And we welcome you. I want you to know you're welcome to join in any call at any time. And also, if you don't feel comfortable sharing something, then by all means don't share it. But we're here to support one another, and happy to see that things are working for you at home, or at least moving in the direction of that and strengthening you each day. So hang in there. Be encouraged. We have your back.
Mhm. Thanks.
Yeah. Hello, Janet.
Good day, Janet. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud and clear, yes.
Oh, that's a nice surprise to be added to a group. Thank you.
How are things in London? How's the weather there today?
We've actually got some blue sky with some clouds going overhead. I suppose around where I'm living at the moment, it's recovering from yesterday. There were thousands of people marching around my house because there's a local hospital which is due to be closed. The government's closing down hospitals, and there's a lot of things going on. So there was thousands of people protesting and going to the park behind my house. And so we had riot police and helicopters and national news and radio and stuff like that. And it was big processions going past my house yesterday. The government just wants to cut back on all kinds of things, and then nobody's got anywhere to go if they're ill, and start charging for all health cares. So not only are they cutting people's benefits now, making it hardly impossible for the common man to live, and so there's a lot of sort of distress amongst people, unsatisfied people.
Audrey, hon, can you mute your mic?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that was going on around my house, and in my local area. Although it was thousands of people, I don't know whether it would do any good, because when a government's got an agenda, they've got an agenda, and whether they listen to the thousands of people that, come out to protest against what's happening, I don't know. But I was talking with Roxanne. Is Roxanne on this call? Is
No.
she on?
No, not right now. She isn't.
I was talking with her while this was going on, and I was also trying to do some more of my painting, and there was, disturbance going on outside, and then my son had some musicians from other bands come, and they were doing a recording downstairs. So yesterday was quite a loud day, and I've been having a sort of a bunged up head thing. You can probably hear it in my voice that I've been my sinuses and my throat, that my glands are swollen, and it's not been very pleasant. But I'm also detoxing, and it's like a purging going on in every way for me at the moment, because I'm still, part of me is very broken hearted from the last relationship that I was in, and I thought he was my true love, and he's gone. I walked out the door, and it's left a big hole, a big gap, and I find myself like having a quiet tear now and then, still feeling that hurt and that loss, and thinking, why did he go? And then part of me is realizing that, well, we weren't aligned. He says I'm just full of mumbo jumbo, hocus pocus bullshit, excuse the language. But if I'm with a partner that isn't aligned to me spiritually, it's never gonna work. Ever. So it's like I'm taking my lone journey, but I've taken strength from having my sisters online. I know you're all in different countries and that there's nobody here in London, but I'm really glad and thankful that I've got you guys to connect with and help in keeping me strong.
We're happy to have you too, very much, Janet. You're not alone. Not alone. I did realize you were a little different today. When I heard your voice, you seemed a little stressed and tired because you have such a voice that's full of so much life. But it's okay to just rest and stick your head under the pillow and just tune out for a while if you have to. You said you had to be present all the time. Sometimes we have to retreat,
Well, that's it. I'm very good, and it's very comforting to retreat. I can recoil and go in my shell and hide away, and that is my comfort zone, and that's what I do, and that's what I've always done. I always retreat, and so it's like I'm stepping out of my comfort zones in so many different things. And I'm wanting to break my old patterns of behavior and my old cycles, because part of being in retreat was a wise thing for me to do. Okay, I lick my wounds and everything, and I get better. But when I get too introspective, I then start getting depressed, and low self-esteem chatter comes in my head, like, you're not worthy, you're not worth it, one day he left you, look at this in your life, look at that in your, and it's a whole bunch of negative stuff. And then it's like, when you're in that negative thing, how do you get out of that negative thing? And so I've been exploring how you do that. And when you feel physically drained because you're not feeling well, dancing doesn't always help, right?
Right.
To dance, and dancing lifts me up, so I play my music and I dance. But when your body is not feeling like, oh, I want to dance, and you don't really, if that's a method that I've used to uplift myself, I can't do that. So it's more about, what other things can I do to raise my vibration, to feel in a happier place, to not affect others with negativity, to not infect myself with negativity, and to just envelop myself in beautiful light and vibration and wholeness and balance, and raise my vibration up. And so I've spent some time doing that. And what I've done in my ways of doing and exploring is I've bounced around on the internet looking at this video and that video, listening to this meditation and that meditation. I've closed my eyes and sat in silence and tried to be nothingness and go into being nothing. And then I heard a meditation and somebody talking, saying, don't be nothingness. Direct your intent. Be master of your intent. I thought, that conflicts with everything that I've just been doing. But master of my own intent. Actually, that resonates. Master of my own intent. I rather like that. And so it's like, I'm mastering my intent. And it's like, so I flip from one thing to another thing, and I'm going along on my roller coaster of my life, of my journey, and I've got a journal that I'm jotting things down in. I'm trying to make sense of it all, jotting down little bits of this, that, and the other, and if there's a word I come across, or a phrase, or a culture, or a race, or something, I just write it down quickly in my book with a question mark, as if an unseen margin, so I know that at some point, hey, I'm going to come back and find out what on earth you are. And and then I've been getting into lucid dreaming. I think this is lucid dreaming, and I wanted to air it out with people. I suppose this is as good an opportunity as any to air it out. Sorry if my voice is croaky. My glands are still swollen.
You're fine.
But it's like when your sleep gets so messed up and you're doing heaps of meditations and you're in your quiet zone and you don't know if you're asleep or if you're awake, and you have an experience and then your experience seems real. Well, I've had a couple of these now, and I don't know if I'm awake, if I'm dreaming, if I've experienced them. It feels like I've experienced them. Can I share a couple? Is it okay to share?
Sure.
Yeah, I know that Audrey was in a conversation on the resistance site just yesterday or the day before talking about lucid dreaming. So maybe it's something that the two of you could actually get together and learn something together about. And I'm listening because I've been lucid and dreaming. But lately I dream too, and I wake up and I feel the sensations of what occurred in the dream. And so if lucid dreaming is actually steering yourself through the dream, when we wake up, it's like, which is reality, is what I keep asking myself. If the reality is in the dream or when I actually wake up.
Yeah, that is a question.
And I don't know if I'm awake or what I'm doing. It's all the same. Thank you. I just to explain, it's like I had this experience then, because I don't know whether it's lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is only a term that I've come across with the resistance. It's like I'm in water, blue illuminated water, and there are cords in this water, and there are these big babies and small babies, but they've all got these cords in slow motion bobbing in this water, illuminated water, and there is a man, and he's in this water too, and he's cutting cords, and I'm cutting cords, and it's slow motion. It's beautiful blue light, and there's just this cord cut, and getting nothingness, and yet everything is all nurturing, and so silently these cords are cut, and that's very strange. And the other thing is, I did a regression meditation, and I felt for a long time afterwards like I had gone through a doorway where there was light, pre-birth, and I was seeing through a doorway, like going into another world, these golden beings in a classroom kind of thing, but it wasn't a classroom, but it was like a classroom, but it was like around stars, like you looking in space, and a big white, like oblong light, like it could have been a screen or something, but one of these golden beings, like referring to the big light. And I'm so excited, and I'm thinking, oh, there's so much to learn, so much to experience, and oh, love's so exciting, and so much to experience. I want to discover it all. I want to discover all. I want to learn it all. I'm going to discover. I'm going to learn. I'm going to discover, and just all this excitement and energy in the room of going to discover and learn all these unknowns and discovering to learn. It's like I was part of this group of golden beings in this room that were looking at this white kind of light, looking at this screen that this one one being was directing our attention to, and this immense excitement of, oh, I'm gonna like explore and the unknowns. I'm gonna be learning, and the sheer excitement and anticipation of having these experiences, and that experience kind of like I had that excitement and that jovial like sense of being, and that was yesterday. And that's pretty weird.
No,
So there you go.
that's it may be new, but I've learned since I got here, there's so many things that we experience, and you just learn that you're not alone, and you get like verification that because things were so different for me, I was like, uh, it wasn't real, it wasn't valid, am I bonkers? And then I would share things, and we'd be on calls like this, and someone else would share the same thing or complete a sentence or be like, oh yeah, but it happened to me or something similar, and I would be like, well, all this is not so very strange. It's just different. It's just things that the 3D realm have kept locked out, and now because of the site, the door is open and we can share these things with each other. I had similar experiences as to what you talked about, and it's fascinating. The only thing is, when you wake up and you're going through your day, sometimes you wonder if it was actually real or whether it was relevant or not. And you start to second guess the energies that have come in and brought their awareness, upon us. So making that connection is really good to know that someone else has gone through that. I'm also going through a major lucid dream, like a redo thing. It's not that I never lucid dreamt before, but now I'm trying to learn some of the technical terms and some of the techniques that they use, and I'm using some hemi-sync tapes, and so things are getting a little bit more advanced. And also that energy that you were talking about, where I was just speaking with Mark this morning. Am I okay? That validation thing, needing to be accepted, needing to be loved, needing to feel like you're worthy of love. Hemisync. I'll tell you about it in a minute. It's a major download someone put me on to in the chat room. It's really good too. Lots of wonderful meditation tapes. But right now, Janet, there is definitely an energy out there that's like, I need self-acceptance. I need to be loved. Do people love me? Do they accept me? Am I okay? And when I started feeling that overwhelming feeling, wondering about what everyone else was feeling or thinking, or if they were okay with me, I shut down my whole thing. I just turned everything off, because I realized at that point I really had to center myself in me. And if I didn't, I'd be getting lost in a lot of other vibrations, trying to make sure I'm connecting properly with others. And one of the biggest things I've realized about myself is being myself and being separate from everyone else and having my own thing going on. So if I was attaching it to everyone else so completely, for me, I just needed to disconnect and know that I was okay with me before I connected again. And I'm not alone. Mark was talking about it. When we dare to share with one another, some of these things become unloosened. We get free of the bad energy from the 3D and from the matrix that's been out to get us. It's like if you keep it bottled up inside and think, well, I can't share that with anyone. It's too purging. It's too vulnerable. It makes me look like I don't have all my stuff together, so I'm not going to share that. And then we keep it inside bottled, and we don't have any idea that there's 50 people around us feeling the exact same thing. And when you see that, it's kind of like the 100 monkey thing again. We say, oh, okay, this is not just us. It's bigger than us. This is something else. This is some kind of a energy or some kind of a spell or whatever you want to call it, however you define things that are put on us that they want us to adopt that we no longer have to. So without going on a longer spiel, you're not alone, and there's a lot of stuff happening right now.
I can relate to that. It's like I was going along just fine, and then just about 2-3 days ago, it was like wham, and that creates a problem in my head then, because it's like, well, if I'm as strong as I think I am, how come I'm crying? If I'm as strong as this, how come I feel these negative emotions? If I'm as strong as I am, how come my body is getting sick? And so I must be not that good a person. I must be. And then the bad negative talk starts. That I'm dyslexic, and sometimes when I speak, my words don't always come out right. Tears. When you're sitting on a bus and you start crying, that's not a very good thing to do. You know, when you have days when you're like that and it's flooding out of you, and you think, God, I got to get a grip. That I've gone through that, and it's like sometimes it just hits you like wham, and it's like, where's that come from? And so it's looking for me. I look deep within. Always have to look deep within, and because everything is like I'm a willing participant in my own life experience, and so I've willingly at some point allowed whatever to come into my life and give me this experience, and then it's detaching from it and saying, okay, I see this experience, I see this emotion, I see what is happening, and being able to progress.
No, I understand, and I'm sure that Audrey and Kishan do too.
I'm sure I can feel the spirit of the conversation. I was a little distracted with communicating with 3 other different individuals, but we have each other, and I am going to make sure that I pull my side of the bargain with what I'm wanting to do and connecting with us and getting us to the next level of our ascension process. Even though we've ascended and that process through 2012 is now we're in 2013, we still have some growing. I still have some growing to do, and I recognize that when something comes before me and I'm a little either apprehensive or confused, or there's a lot of energy pulsing through my body at the time of the event, it's like I have to be responsible for knowing myself so well to where I can isolate in an instant what is making me this way or that, or feel this way or that. And I'm not at the point where I can do it instantly, and that's what I want to be able to do. It's now a delayed reaction when something happens. If it catches me off guard, I find myself thinking so intently about why do I feel this way, and I want it to, and I'm sure I'll get to that point to where I can say, okay, I feel like this because of this, and I can instantly change my thought into feeling the way that I want to feel or how I felt prior to this situation. Usually when it's someone closer to me, it has a larger effect, or, a lower vibrational frequency for me. Learning to neutralize that is it's a work in progress. And so I'm not sure if what you were talking about exactly had anything to do with what I just said, but your story, Janet, everything you're doing there, it's like superwoman. But we don't want to be superwomen like as as how we used to think of the term, where I used to think it's required of me to do everything and to be here for everyone. And when I got sick and I didn't know why, the doctors couldn't tell me what it was going on with my body, I had to take my health into account, and I had to take it seriously. And so I researched a lot of different things and came to the point where I am now, to where what I consume now in comparison to what I was consuming then helped me see that I had to be selfish, and I'm not going to allow myself or my body or my family to be hindered based on something that I do. But I also have to be very wise in what I do, what I say, what I think. And again, it's just been a process. It's a day-to-day, moment-by-moment growing process for me.
Thank you. Thank you both, or all of you.
Can I ask something?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Keyshawn, what you were saying, I was having like the same problem, and I went to this site called All Experts, and I asked the woman on there in the Law of Attraction about having negative feelings, because they talk about being in the vortex, and being positive and using that positive energy while you're in the vortex to manifest, positive or good experiences in your life. And so I said to myself, like, dealing with my partner and everything, sometimes I get really frustrated and very upset, and I feel like, I'm not in the vortex, and I feel like everything I put in the vortex when I was positive was just wasted. And she said, like, it's not. And what she told me to do was, when you're feeling any certain way, frustrated, angry, or maybe you feel offended, somebody said something and it just puts you in like a bad mood, she said just to take a step back and just analyze how you feel. Just try to relax and just analyze the emotion that you're feeling. And at first when she said it, I didn't think that that would help, but I actually did it, and I wasn't even aware that in like no time I'll not even feel that way. I'll forget all about it. It's just like it just went away. Like if I get angry, I'll say, okay, I'm angry. I'm feeling angry now. Don't try to change your emotion and give it so much attention. And I think that when we stop giving that emotion and that energy attention and resisting it, she said, don't resist, just be in the moment, like, and feel whatever you're feeling and just analyze it and observe it. That I feel like doing that just lets it pass, and you can just ponder and think about what's going on inside your body. And I feel like it helps me stay grounded and not like more frustrated, because when you give that emotion more attention, it just feeds it more, I think. So that's really, her advice really helped me. And that at first when she told me, I didn't think it would work, but I did it, and I was surprised. I said, wow, like when I do that, I feel better, and I didn't even notice that I felt better. So, I don't know, you could try that.
No, that's true. Some of the simplest things sometimes helps, and we don't even realize that, some of the solutions are right in front of our face. I use, mirror magic, I call it a lot. Just staring at myself through my eyes in the mirror helps me do a lot of self-check and reflection on a deeper level. And it's not easy, because when you're not feeling 100% and you do that, it kind of feels like, um, it doesn't feel good at first until you go through the whole process, and then you feel good at the end of it. And another simple tool is to be an observer. Like, That's the way I stay objective. I step out of my own life and step out of my own feelings and look at my life and myself and my behaviors and the way that I interact with the things around me from someone else's point of view. And I pick someone else that would be really critical. Maybe it's a parent's voice that you can't stand, or someone that you think would be very picky. Um, those are just my little techniques that I use. It helps me to be able to look at myself without being too emotional about it, you know, and I'm able to make corrections a lot easier. You know, it's funny. This call was initially because Keyshawn wanted to talk about a group that she's starting, a panel, and then it ended up with us talking about our issues. You know, some things that we have in common. I think it is funny when we try to do it on purpose. A lot of times it doesn't happen, but then when you just let things flow and not try to guide things so much or structure everything, sometimes things just happen. That's what I like so much about being a part of a, you know, associated with women like ourselves, is not having to have structure all the time and knowing when to have it. You know, we're very flexible.
For sure. I agree. Yeah, this call just started out to be um, what we want to do is get individuals that are serious about, and not that we want to get this or that. Everything will flow in the lives of those who, in my opinion, have been working very hard and diligently over time. I can speak, for me, I feel like I've worked an awful lot. And so the goodness that I'm receiving now and the joy associated with being a part of a community that have this, I see us as being sincere, genuine humans, if you want to even give us the term of being a human. It's like we're inside of these bodies, but yet the soul that we have is pure. It's like the sun. It's like the sun is the sun. And, we're women, but we've had so many different experiences over time that in some cases is so similar. And I know once we break that stronghold of being afraid to come together and share those experiences, a lot of healing will be done amongst our children. And if we can, like I mentioned before, gather our youth, our girls, and share with them some areas that we've seen that, things they can avoid, especially with men. The healing amongst the young boys will even occur, because at this point it seems like the girls and the boys are in competition with one another, and they're not able to really see who they are individually. And gosh, can we slow down that process? Why is it so important for us to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend before we're, 18 or above, that legal age? Can we reverse that and have our girls be celibate again so they can learn about themselves before they get intertwined into these soul ties with boys who don't know what they really want? It's something that I'm very passionate about, as you can tell, and I'm going to do everything I can to pull together as many women as I know. If you know of women that's interested in being a part of something, or not even a part, but being connected with women of our caliber. Bring them on. Show them how to log on to Skype. Show them how to create an account. Get them on to the group calls and let them share whatever they wish. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. What I started out saying is a panel of individuals. We're looking for those who are seriously seeking to service others in their spiritual walk. And Audrey, I'd love to hear more about the business you're involved in, what you're going to start. If you need assistance with the website and other business type tools, let us know. We can connect you with the correct person to get that up and going.
Keyshawn, you said something about why is it important for, just 1 second, I'm sorry.
I wanted to welcome you, Miriam. I didn't see you there for a second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Likewise. Thank you. I know this was a random call. I wanted to at least extend the invitation to the women who have not been able to join in on the last Saturday, and just to see if, they're interested in just listening in, even to see what we're talking about, to stay in the loop with what is yet to come. It's so many different things growing and blooming, and as you know, it's a full moon blooming tonight. And if you have crystals, feel free to put them out in the moonlight tonight to recharge them.
What I wanted to say was, you, Keyshawn, had said, why is it so important for girls to have a boyfriend? And that resonates with me because when I was growing up, my mother and I were not close at all. And I remember saying to myself, I want somebody to love me for just me, despite my imperfections and what everybody else expects of me, to just love me. And I didn't have that. I didn't have an embrace. She didn't hug me. She didn't let me know I love you. She wasn't there for me to talk to. And I feel like a lot of young girls, they just don't have that connection with people where somebody loves them like they love themselves. Like if they do something wrong, to be there for them and tell them, well, it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, or, it's not even, I don't even feel like it's a mistake. Sometimes we're just confused or trying to just find our way, and it's like they're looking for that love. And so they're not getting it. And so they think that that type of relationship will give them that feeling of having that love. And I know that's what it was for me. It's like when you don't have love, you're constantly seeking it. And also, I feel like it's a lot of time on their hands. Also, they're not having that that fulfillment. Like nurturing their talents, what makes them happy. As a child, also, like, or an adolescent, I didn't have any direction really. Like my mother didn't nurture my hobbies. Oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? They just have time on their hands, and so they have these hormones. They have this desire to be loved or to spend time with people and just have a good time. And I feel like that's what they're drawn to. And at the same time, I don't think that is wrong for girls to have a relationship with a young boy, but I feel like they should understand that the relationship does not have to go to sex, and you also need to set your boundaries. Like relationships should be based around love, but it doesn't necessarily mean an intimate relationship, and when is the right time to have a relationship like that. I feel like people rush too quickly into relationships, not really knowing each other completely and what each person is about. And so then when sex changes like a whole lot of things, and then when that happens, they spend the rest of the relationship trying to repair it and get to know each other, and it just becomes like a big mess.
Hello? Just a minute. Answer any questions and offer advice. With an A rating from the Better Business Bureau. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Please mute your line, Roxanne.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Good day.
That was a mouthful, Audrey, that needed to be said. And it sounds messy because it is messy. And that's exactly why we need to give our daughters more support and let them know you need to know thyself first before you connect yourself that's not complete to someone else who's not complete and make a big mess, And it's not easy because I find with my daughters, I can tell them so much and they see that I do put things into action. I mean, I mean what I say and I say what I mean. And pretty much very strict about that, or I won't do it and I don't attempt it. But then they'll go to school and they'll see they're just surrounded by a whole system that tells them to do things this way and that it's okay. They actually promote young girls and young men to get into relationships early. Everything about the media does it. Everything about the school system does it. Their sexual awareness classes and the way they have their classroom set up, the things they promote and allow for conversation. I'm just overwhelmed with what I'm combating, as an individual. And, well, me and my husband as parents. As soon as they step away from us, they're into a big mess. So how do you use that? And I keep thinking it takes a village to raise a child. So when my daughters listen to us talk and they listen to the tapes, and it helps to reinforce what I'm already teaching, and I need the help.
Like my daughter, she told me that there's a boy in her class that she likes. Now, initially, when I first considered myself, or I was a parent, I said, no boys, and at the time I was Muslim, so I'm like, don't go around boys. Boys are trouble, But the more that I think about it, my mother told me before, Audrey, men, all they want to do is get in your pants. And that's where she left it. And so when I thought for myself, I said, that can't be true about all people, so I was naive and I didn't really know what she meant, but I feel like I opened up a discussion with my daughter to express herself and let her know that it's okay to be attracted to somebody. Sometimes young girls are attracted to their teachers. And then they have this fondness for this person. It's okay to love someone, but you have to understand, well, what should I do with these feelings? What do all these feelings mean? It's okay to like somebody, but kids get infatuated without really knowing who that person really is and what their relationship is to this person and where their feelings are and everything. And I told her it's okay to be fond of somebody or to think somebody's attractive, but you have to know that you don't know them. And this boy in her class, I told her it's okay to be friends with him or talk to him, but you have to understand certain things. You don't let anybody touch you. You don't, and then she has her menses now, and I told her you can get pregnant, and I said it shouldn't go any further than being friends. But I don't want her to feel awkward around boys or feel shy because she thinks someone is attractive. But yet, just like when you see a nice blouse hanging in the store, you say, oh, that's nice, but does it fit me? Do you know what I'm saying? I told her you need to take the time to get to know people. I said, don't think about all those other things. Just get to know people and see if, can I be friends with this person? I feel like kids have been so shut out from building relationships, that they just jump into boyfriend and girlfriend without really learning how to have a friendship with the opposite sex. Because even a marriage or a relationship won't work unless you can be friends with that person and respect each other. And if you have the same goals in mind, because like in my relationship, we don't really have the same goals in mind. And I didn't listen to my inner self when I said, I don't want things to go as far as this, without me really knowing all of that, and now I'm having problems. So it's like, I feel like I told her what she should do is get to know people, observe. I encouraged her to do that. And I still watch her and stuff. It's not like I want her to just go out and just, get to know all these boys, because when nobody else is around, I don't know what they'll do. But I open up the conversation so she knows, okay, my mom is receptive and she wants to know and she's okay with me talking to boys, versus stay away from them, they're bad, because some sweet boy attractive is going to come along and sweet talk her, and everything he's saying is going to sound nice, and then she's going to feel unsure. I told her that they don't know what they know just as much as you know. You know what I'm saying? And so I said it's good to learn how to make friendships and just get to know people. It's okay to have a boy as a friend, but that's as far as it should go, and it's a learning experience for you. I told her, set your boundaries. You teach people how to treat you, by the way you act. I said, don't let anybody put their hands on you or speak to you in a way that's not right, and you'll know by the way you feel. And I said, you need to be assertive and let them know, don't do that, or don't do this, or don't talk to me that way. And I said right there, they'll know by your body language and by what your assertiveness that you're not going to stand for that, so that's what I did with my daughter. And I think that my mom, like, she didn't talk to me about building relationships with boys, and so I felt distant from them and awkward, but I mean, they are a part of society, and I feel like I still to this day, if I see a man that I'm attracted to, I feel nervous or I feel awkward, and it's from that interaction or not being able to interact with the opposite sex, you know. I feel like we have to teach our children to just be themselves and who they are, and be able to relate to other people. But as far as an intimate relationship, I feel like that would happen only if, I mean, I don't even think that they are ready for that, in where they are. So I feel like they should just, I told her that it's okay to be friends, basically. And an intimate relationship, I don't think is good at their age. Do you know what I'm saying? But rather, they can do fun things together and enjoy each other's company, but that's as far as it should go. And I think our children also need to, do the same things that we're doing, and then I feel like their hormones will be more balanced, and they won't be like all over the place.
Absolutely. It's glorified so much on TV, at school. I mean, everywhere you look, there's sex. There's this, it's a corrupt system that we live in that brainwashes us from the moment we're born, even when we're in our mother's womb. If she's taking or consuming anything that is GMO, we have that, and it's like our children are artificial because of what is really being, it's like the food that's being produced and delivered to our grocery stores and then put on our plates and in our bodies. It's causing us a massive amount of blockage. And so all the psychological reasons of why humans do what they do, it's been put in books and in education and everything. And so we're very much aware of, well, most of us are, It's just like Regina was saying, if we can steal our children back from mainstream media, I think we'll be doing a good deed, and we're on the path of that. I'm not sure how it's going to go down, but I'm trusting that it will. It just takes the day-by-day action plan for us to do that. I am sure we'll be able to have all those involved that is doing that on different fronts, in different arenas, in different industries, and it can be done, and it will be done.
Absolutely. I think that we're all guardians here. We call ourselves enlightened or aspiring to ascend and clean our bodies and think on a higher level of vibration and all this other stuff. And if we can't help our children and we're just living for ourselves, then I think the whole thing would be lost in translation. Like when I was a young girl, I would hear certain things, catchphrases that adults would use or media would use, and it would be like, let's leave a better tomorrow for our children, and things like that. And I was like, wow, that sounds great. And I was looking forward to the better tomorrow until I realized I was about 30 and everything was still the same and even worse. And looked back at the big mess that was left that I had to wade myself through. And that's not the kind of place I'm trying to leave my children. And I know as an individual, I can only do but so much. I can change my immediate environment, like I said, in my home. But when they step out of it, it's still a hot mess, in my opinion. And it needs everyone's focus to be on leaving a better tomorrow and actually not saying it, but actually doing something to make it happen. And if we each do just a small piece, it won't just be a catchphrase, it'll be something that's active. And I know that we have the kind of power to do that because we do it every day as resistance members and as women. We just don't realize how effective we are. So we concentrate that energy and realize our potential and our own internal power. We can do so many things, and we are doing so many things. And, I definitely want to focus on doing my little small part for this. Our daughters are being lost, our sons, our children are being eaten alive, and of something that we can now see because we're awake. But now, when you see it, now what do you do? If there's no practical application to be able to remove it or deal with it on a different level, calling ourselves enlightened, then what is it all for? It's just another catchphrase. So I would like to concentrate on that. What can we do to change that? If you're up for it. I know Keyshawn is.
Exactly, that's the key.
Regina, I don't want to, like, how can I say it, dismiss what your feelings about, like, that our children are being preyed upon and everybody's being preyed upon. And this is something that I'm unsure of right now too, because I know Savan speaks of, like, deities that are overpowering or, trying to take control. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So what I was studying and recently was the law of attraction by Abraham Hicks, and then, she's not the only person who is an advocate for it, but then also I was turned on to a person named Jane Roberts and the Seth material, and she channeled Seth, and what he said was that the idea of good and evil is a duality that only exists in this dimension, and that it's an illusion, and when you accept this reality, it creates that experience for you. And he said that evil is simply ignorance. It's a person being so far away from their highest self that they know, and they're doing things that don't make them happy, So it's like Because you're not going to harm a person if you're very happy. Like, what reason would you have to harm someone? So he said with this belief in good and bad, that we're creating these experiences individually in our individual experiences, and we're having similar experiences because we have this similar belief. So I don't know if that is true, but I feel like possibly it is, and he said that when we transition out of the physical body, things will be different. But if we believe in that good and evil, it's an impediment, versus just believing in good and positive, and saying, reaffirming that I live in a safe universe and something like that. I don't know how you feel about that or what Savant may think or the rest of the resistance members, because to me it just feels or seems more right that evil is just, it's like a big bully. If you give the bully attention, well, he's going to do everything he can to suppress you. But if you don't give him attention, he's going to leave you alone. So it's all a matter of the way you relate to this energy. And why would a person want to bully you in the first place? Do you know what I'm saying? What reason would they have for doing that? Maybe because they're unhappy, and if that person was happy, wouldn't everybody be fine? So I guess what they're saying is that people who do those types of perceived behaviors as evil are just far away from their vibration, or a higher vibration. And I guess everybody is on their journey to realizing what their alignment truly is. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Just for the sake of answering Audrey's question that she just asked me, I'm going to answer it, and then, want to definitely hear from others. But I personally believe that words get in the way. Things get lost in translation. What I try to do is not adopt an entire theory of any one individual. I am a free agent. I can think for myself. I do my own research, and I take and pick and choose different pieces that fit my own interpretation of what I want my life to be. The other thing is that, yes, when it comes to individuals, a lot of what you said has a lot of validity to it. I wouldn't deny it. A lot of the concepts that this man that you said was quoting are, they're real. However, just like we have a nurturing environment, everyone needs a nurturing environment, even adults. We have one at the Resistance. We have one in this small group where we are now. Everything needs a place to feel safe to grow. We don't have that outside of this environment. So although we may say I own my own power and control, I can just be flowers and roses and love and positive energy, there's things pushing on that. We're adults and we feel that. That's a valid point. Now, we're talking about children who need a nurturing environment like that to be able to even get the concept that we have now been able to rotate into, okay, well, how does it work? How do I want it to work for me? We have that right. We're adults, but these children, our children, that we're responsible for, I don't feel have quite gotten that opportunity yet. I want to even the playing field.
I understand what you're saying. It's not that I want to just leave out the fact that the children are not in alignment, but knowing or using what I've learned as far as concentrating on the positive. Like what they say is that, or what Abraham said was that if you're feeling bad, reach for a general thought, and maybe Janet, this will help you too. You said you don't know what to do or you're having some trouble when you just feel awful getting yourself aligned. She was like, reach for something very general. Like it could be a thought of ice cream or banana split. Like, oh, it would be really nice to have a banana split right now. Or the way I love chocolate. Just thinking of chocolate gives me a good feeling. She said, reach for the most general thought that you can that makes you feel good, and that's a start. And then like when you have thoughts, then more thoughts will come to you, maybe of things that are enjoyable to you. Or let's say you feel like you're not making progress. Well, you could go back to a time when you know that you did make progress, and you could say, well, I did do that. Or, I am doing this. It could be anything general, she said. The more general, the better. And that will help bring you out of, what you're into. And it's different for everybody. It could be putting on a certain song. And then like with the children, I feel like we have to teach them this concept too. We have to teach them how to relax, teach them how to look and see the positive in all this negative. Because I know when I was a kid, I was very alone and I was very depressed a lot of times. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. And what I told my younger brother, because I feel like he's kind of like that because of my mom, like she didn't encourage me to get out and meet people. You'll find that you'll have similarities with them. Teach them how to be a positive influence and teach them that love is there. It's not just evil out there, that you use what's good in you to influence the good in other people, and I feel like we have to teach them how to also express themselves. And this dialogue that we're having right now is therapeutic. Kids should also be encouraged to talk to other kids and realize that, hey, I'm not the only kid that feels like this. And some kids are shy. I told my brother, don't be shy. If somebody doesn't want to talk to you, just say, okay, it's fine. It's okay. It's just the same way that we aren't attracted to other people. We have to realize other people may not be attracted to us, and it's not really a personal thing. It's just that maybe they're not on the same vibration. Because what Abraham Hicks said is that when you're not on the same vibration as somebody else, it just sounds like blah, 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 blah. And I mean, when I say Abraham Hicks said, I'm giving her the credit for putting that idea out there, because it's not my own. It's not that, because Regina, you said that you think for yourself, and I'm not sure what I'm not saying that I just take from people without considering it, but I feel like what a lot of things that she says is just the way she explains it is it's very clear, and that's why, and it's like, because Michael says the same thing. He'll say, you listen to everything Abraham Hicks says, or you love Savan more than you love me. And I'm like, hold on, Savan was born, he's young. All this stuff that he's learning came from somewhere else. Like knowledge just passes on. It either resonates with you or it doesn't for where you are in your spiritual journey. And you either accept it or you don't accept it. You might accept something like your husband. I was on this whole black thing before too, and then I got off of it, but it's like it resonated with the part of me, and then I realized that, hey, this is not right, you know. So, but at the time, in my spiritual journey where I was, it was right, And so then I moved on to other knowledge, and then I said, okay, this isn't right for me, and I learned that I guess I ascended, into accepting all types of people and knowing that they deserve love. I know I'm like all over the place, but what I wanted to say was I think that we have to teach our children to relax too and to think positively, because staying in a confused or negative state, it hinders your growth, I feel, and also there are outlets like poetry, and dancing, like Janet said. We should encourage them to do the things to nurture their talents or their hobbies or their interests. They may feel like they want to do something, but then when they do it, they feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. But unless they try and see what makes them happy and see what they want to do with their life, then they won't know what they want. So we have to try to nurture them and let them go their own path and support them the best way that we can, and make them know that they have to express themselves and talk to other kids. Be social. Don't just be by yourself. Let them know that love is there, and you have to allow yourself to it. You can't be reserved.
For sure, for sure. Thank you for sharing, Audrey. There'll be other calls where you'd be able to share, and I agree. As long as we put as many things out there, let's say, for example, everything that currently exists in the reality that draws the attention of our youth, we can open up avenues for them to have those same types of activities in the spiritual enlightenment direction or whatever. And so as we're doing that and we're putting as many things out there for them to grasp a hold to, as long as it's wholesome and it's righteous, then they'll see that and they'll grow into that and become those types of individuals in their communities, in their homes, with their parents, being more respectable to their elders and more respectable to themselves as well. So thank you to each of you that took time out to connect this morning. We are going to switch over from the Skype to the live stream platform to watch or listen to the Astral Quest show with Savon. So
yes, absolutely.
I would love to see you guys on the other side, on the flip side, as Roxanne would say. Hey, Roxanne.
Roxy.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, on the flip side.
Sending warm vibrations your way today. Stay warm and stay healthy. We send our love to you over there in Idaho.
Absolutely. Thank you, all of you ladies, for being on the call. Miriam, we didn't forget about you. You're always so quiet, but very attentive. We want to listen to Brother Seven and on Astral Quest, and we'll have another call next week, right, Keyshawn, on the 2nd?
Yeah.
My birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's awesome. Look at how these days will fall into place as we go on. It's actually, we had our first call on January the 5th, which was the first day in January. Our next call will be February 2nd, which is the first day in February, and Regina's birthday. So I want to say in March, let's see, my birthday falls on March 2nd, which is a Saturday as well. So we're on a roll. I'm so happy and joyful and would love to continue spreading that around to each of you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Wholeness, ladies.